Dancing
Safari.
Dancing Safari.
New elite
This
spec.
would be our Holosmith. What did you guys have in mind when you were building the Holosmith? How did this start out?
Well, the Holosmith really started out as this kind of we kind of explored a lot of different types of tech. Originally, the Scrapper was kind of a, I guess, dirty tech, char tech kind of specialization. So we wanted to kind of go in the opposite direction with this one, make it more of a clean technology. You know, like the guys in the white suits who work on, you know, circuit boards all day and the clean rooms. So
his sword shield at the moment, and you can see the abilities as well. I went through this in a YouTube video, but it's just nice to know all the previous stuff as well. So what they're talking about in this guild chat, I'm assuming, is mainly like the general feel of the elite specialization itself, as well as going through maybe, you know, Carl is on the Carl McClay is on the PC somewhere else and he's playing through them. So a lot of this isn't explanation specifically about each and every single thing and trait. It's more like looking at the actual elite specialization itself and then, you know, just talking about it rather than so in-depthly, which is what we used to have. So it's be interesting to see what it's like compared to that, because remember we had like Josh Davis and I think we had a couple of the other guys like Carl and whatnot sitting at a desk, and we went through every single trait for every single thing, and we went through every ability, and we talked about the possibilities of different things happening, which I enjoyed. But maybe this is going to be okay. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
we tried to get a much cleaner feel for this guy, and it ended up being kind of
a showcase, yes.
Light-based, ended up really helping that theme.
Yeah, we're char, like where the Scrapper was kind of more char tech based.
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
a little more in the Asura tech type line, possibly with some overtones of like the Zephyrite magics, like the very clean lightning light based stuff.
Okay, and the trait lines are different on these, aren't they? As
yeah,
far as the layout?
so the Holosmith is unique from a lot of the other elite specializations. I think we talked about this the last time I was on the stream with the Reaper, that we kind of designed a lot of the specializations so that they had themes.
What has he got there? Corona Burst, that's the one. Corona Burst grants stability on each attack and creates a barrier for each target struck. So that's going to be a PvP trait right there. That's going to be a PvP trait. I don't think the other ones. Hollow Leap removes movement in pairing conditions, which is cool. It's similar to that warrior trait. I think I'll say this every time, where if you use a movement skill, then you know you remove immobilize and whatnot as well. But this is just Hollow Leap, so it's not bad, but yeah.
Along the trait lines. But the Holosmith is unique in that he kind of designed.
See, there's the GMs. There's like a possibility of all of them being used, because I think here, where's he gone?
That we.
Launch. Photon Forge skill 1 now fires explosive projectiles. Okay, that's probably more for
a lot of the specializations so that they
DPS,
had themes horizontally along the trait lines. But the Holosmith is unique in that he kind of designs his trait lines are designed vertically. Each of the vertical lines in the trait lines have a particular theme, and the theme is kind of like build your own forge. It originally started out as kind of build your own lightsaber. This was pretty early on before we decided on the forge.
So that's good. So we've been talking to like Zan and Chafe and different people, and they were talking about the different elites, like the Grandmasters, and how, you know, even vent exhaust could be quite good. Dodge rolling vents heat as an attack against foes, but again, not too sure. But it should, you know, when you vent heat, it actually activates something else elsewhere, which is potentially going to give you a heal. So if you think about like the Guardian heal on dodge, I think it was that, yeah. So when you vent heat, you get a unit of healing. But again, I'm not going to talk about that too much. We're just watching it. And hey, Flobby, how you doing, guys? Don't forget as well, subscriptions. We will be doing a sub gold giveaway if we get subscriptions today.
But it was originally kind of like build your own lightsaber. So what are the parts of the lightsaber? Well, there's the emitter, there's the crystal or the lens, and then there's the power source. So the Holosmith kind of mirrors that in that he has these three lines, and they kind of represent the projector, the crystal, and the it's not really the power source, it's more of the...
Looks so cool. It's a shame that this play button comes up and it just makes the whole video go dark, but it does look very cool, like Holosmith when you go into Photon Forge. And you can see the heat. We couldn't see the heat before in the other footage, so this is something that's new that we haven't seen before, really. So it's got the different Is this a line here? Oh, that's like the overheating, I guess. And this kind of got this area here, so it looks like. Let's see how it goes when he heats it up.
The battery.
It's the battery.
Oh, it's got three sections. So it's got like. Oh, okay, that's interesting how they did that. So how are you supposed to see if you go over 50 heat? Oh, maybe because it's 50-50, 150 because it's got the trait. What trait did he have on? Did he have the heat trait? I think he did, right? Let's have a look quickly as he goes through them.
The theme is kind of like build your own forge. It originally started out as kind of build your own lightsaber. This was pretty early on before we decided on the forge, the Photon forge.
Increases maximum heat capacity while above 100% heat. Periodically gain might capacity increase by 50%. So that extra bar is the heat increase. So normally that red bar would be like here, I'm assuming, and it would be half and half, and you see the 50. Okay, maybe it want to be in increments of 25, because I think there was something about being over 75 heat, or was it 75% heat? I can't remember. The new animations are off the hook. Really did a good job. They look cool, man. They look cool. Again, sorry guys. I'm going to be a little bit more in depth with the Holosmith.
So the Holosmith kind of mirrors that, in that he has these three lines, and they kind of represent the projector, the crystal, and the I guess it's not really the power source. It's more of the
battery.
It's the battery. It's the heat. It's the heat system basically.
Yeah. All right. So I'm really liking the look of whatever you've done here. So Carl's kind of putting her through her paces here, and I'll let you guys talk about builds and what players can do when they start playing around with this tomorrow.
Yes. Okay. So I think with the core gameplay pattern that we've kind of worked in with the Holosmith is the heat mechanic. When you're in your Photon Forge mode, you build heat, and actually pretty much all of your non-Photon Forge skills gain bonuses when you're above 50% heat. So the general gameplay loop is that you go into the Photon Forge mode, you fight for a little while. The skills are very powerful, but they generate heat. You kind of want to heat your forge up a little bit. Don't go too hot because you'll blow up, basically.
Whoa! Did you see how quickly that bar went up? Jesus Christ! All right, let's have a look. All right,
yes. Okay. So I think with the core gameplay pattern that we've kind of worked in with the Holosmith is the heat mechanic. When you're in your Photon Forge mode, you build heat, and actually pretty much all of your non-Photon Forge skills gain bonuses when you're above 50% heat. So the general gameplay loop is that you go into the Photon Forge mode, you fight for a little while. The skills are very powerful, but they generate heat. You kind of want to heat your forge up a little bit. Don't go too hot because you'll blow up, basically. And then switch out, use your other skills, and now that they have these cool bonuses. And then once you've cooled off a little, go back into Forge mode and start that all over again. But the traits are ways that you can modify that behavior. One interesting thing about the trait lines for the Holosmith is that the Holosmith does not have any traits that affect either its weapon or its utility skills, because those are all built into the core mechanic of the heat system. So you won't find any like 20% recharge on sword skills, or all of your utility skills last 20% longer traits there. They're all kind of built in. So like one of his utility skills reduces is a stun break, and it has a 50% reduced
Okay. So Spectrum Shield, 50%, minus 50% incoming damage, minus 50% incoming condition damage. Oh, okay. So they've actually, like you said, rather than putting these things in the trait lines, they've actually just put them into utilities. So the utilities are almost like traits to a degree. That's quite cool. They made a joke about people blowing themselves up. Yeah, well, they are. I am many times. I think we're gonna do. You should see that the chat thingies are like. Oh my god, they're all there now. Oh god.
Recharge. I think it's 50% if you are above the heat threshold.
Okay.
So that's kind of just built. We just kind of rolled that in, which let us really heavily theme all of the traits around the forge. That's the other unique thing about the Holosmith specialization is that it's very heavily themed around the forge and around the special mechanic. Even more.
See some of those hits, like, I mean, you're gonna be able to do that in, you can be able to do that in PvE. Did we see what stats Carl was running? I'm gonna ask him. Give me a sec. Maybe he'll tell me by the end. Let me see. I might be able to tell him. I can see if I can send him a message. I was going to ask him. There you go. Right, Sellers. Look forward to Redding being like, what? Wait, what happened? And the answer being Jebro blew himself up. Pretty much.
More so than all of the other specializations. I don't think there's a single trait that doesn't affect the forge in any way, in some way.
That's right.
Damn, that's sword damage. What? Can I play this in like a slow motion? I can. There we go. Awesome. I didn't realize you could do that. Okay, so let's go here. See if we can pause it. So it's got the pistols. That's the 4th skill. Boom. Then that is the 5th skill, that hammer slam. But like the initial hit is 3k just about. But AoE, look at the 3k over here. I mean, that's on like medium light targets as well. I just want to know what stats he's using. Must be using power. Must be using power, because look at the bleed. It's 40. Whoa. And then he switches out, and then it goes... Sorry, it switched back in. Ah. Whoa. The damage. That's just on the 1st skill. On the sword. Sorry, he is out. It just took a little bit of a delay there. Look at this. Look at this now. The sword damage. Alright, let me just get up the sword abilities from Scrapper, from Holosmith. And actually, I'll tell you, I can't remember exactly what they're called. Wow, okay. Maybe not then. So the first one, first sword ability is light strike, so just swing the blade, slash the blade, and then cleave. So the third is a bigger cleave, I guess. Then the second is hollow leap. Sorry, that was Photon Forge, my bad. Sword is sun edge, so strike your foe and inflict a vulnerability. This attack gains additional critical chance based on the heat level. So when you're at high heat level, this is where we are now. He's switched purposely into sword to do more damage. So that's something we need to remember when we're playing Holosmith, right? We're high heat. We want to switch back into the sword, which is cool because we want to try and keep that heat high, but obviously, you know, not expend it to ridiculous amounts that we get blown up, because we don't die. We only get a hit for like 40%. He must be running Zerka. Is it 14k? He must be running a Zerka completely. Must be. Should be Vipers. You think so, Flux? I don't know, man. Have you seen the power damage with sword? He's got sword though. If he's running like pistol or something, yeah. He wants to show off the sword, and sword damage obviously would make more sense having power rather than having Condi, right? So remember that sword skills do more damage when you're at the like this massive end heat threshold. Yeah, crit chance. Sorry, not extra. Well, it is extra damage because it's extra crit chance. Then the third skill links in with, obviously, you know, that first forward switch. Wow. Okay, words. Can we get some kappas in the chat for words? Unleash a burst of stored energy with your sword and recharge your other sword skills. This attack gains additional critical chance based on your heat levels. So that's the third chain of the first sword ability, which is called Gleam Saber. So you reduce the recharge of the other abilities and you do more crit based on the heat, which we talked about. Then Retraction Cutter Is it rejection card? Yeah. Okay. Strike foes in front of you and launch a blade of light at your target. Launch extra blades based on your heat level. Okay, how many blades was that? So you have over 100% heat is 4 blades, 50% is 2, and the targets is 3. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so that's only extra damage. So it's a bit like, I guess, the Guardian Sword when you do the chain, and it's the third one. They kind of leap out a bit, but it's adding more depending on how much heat you are. And then Radiant Arc, leap to your target and create an arc of light that strikes nearby foes. Gain quickness based on your heat level. So you could go in with Radiant Arc. Probably, actually, you could go 3, 2, 1 and just keep spamming 1 until you get third ability back up for a faster kind of chain on the first ability. That's a pretty cool. That's pretty cool, actually. That's a lot of damage. Okay, let's have a look. So here you go. So he's jumping. He's jumping. Leap. I think he leaps. Yeah, there you go. Leap for the quickness. Yep, there's a quickness. Whoa, second hit. And look at that. Look how many how much damage that did. Oh my god. I know it's Zerka. I know it's Zerka. But damn. Yeah, six seconds? Radiant Arc, let's just double check. Yeah, because it's at the maximum heat level, so 50% or below is 2 seconds of quickness, 50% and above is 4 seconds, and then 100% is 6 seconds. Damn, son. Damn. That is a lot of damage. It depends if it gets blown up, because you can see at the moment he's losing HP. He actually gained HP when he was in that. Okay, so this is it. Let's have a look at it again. Well, in raids, I mean, that damage is going to be pretty crazy, but you can't upkeep that for that long. It depends. If you get healed, you just got to come out of it, and then you can go into sword, and you can still maintain your damage. Damn. Paladins, man. Yeah, Paladins with that. Get the increased crit chance. Survive a little bit more. More orders. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy damage. Guys, do you understand how hype I am about damage and flipping... Oh my god. Damage and Holosmith. Damage and Engineer. A damage build for Engineer. Yeah, it is, Sean. It is. Jesus. We actually get damage. We don't get little bots running around. I love Scrapper. Scrapper's cool. But we don't get like all these survivable traits. We get some just damage. We just get some goddamn damage. And that's good. For PvP as well. Oh man. Happy times. Happy times indeed. Okay, should we take it off the slow now? We don't need to do that anymore. It's a silly place.
Some of the modifications that you can make, they push things a little bit further with the mechanic than we tend to do, like with other professions.
Okay, that was the second skill. Look at that. I mean, I know it's Zerka, but still. Scared just away.
In this case, like the Grandmaster traits in particular, the ones that affect the battery, since that's your actual heat bar. Mm-hmm. Some of them will, well, one of them increases...
That's ranged. That ranged attack is ridiculous. Let me just go on to Photon Forge for a second. Is it... I can't remember if it's increased range. Light strike, swing holographic blade, slash with a blade of light energy, cleave through the foes in front of you twice. Was that the second ability he was using there? I didn't realise that was... had that big range. Oh, 240, okay. Okay, fine.
The max heat that you can have.
That's nice, man.
Others of them change the functionality for when
the
you
utility,
would
the pull.
blow up.
Oh wow! And then the pull into that.
So it's to blow up, so.
We did design this character with a trait that allows you to intentionally blow up to deal damage to your enemies. It reduces some of the penalty for blowing up.
But the penalty of which is you do a fair amount of direct damage
you take
to
about,
yourself.
I believe it's about 50% of your base health that you take. Your base health.
Overheating now blasts damage to nearby foes and no longer deals its initial damage to you. That's the 50% he's talking about. I thought it was 40%. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's changed. Heat cannot be lost except after you've overheated. Gain heat therapy and laser's edge after overheating. Therapy.
Health, by the way. So if you take vitality, it'll actually take off less than 50% of your total health.
So this guy kind of wants to run with a bit of vitality in addition to more offensive stats.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that someone will, during the PvP weekend, will come up with a really cool AED build and just intentionally blow themselves up constantly. Yeah. Try to do a bunch of damage that way.
Right.
Huh. That is a very good point. AED. We did talk about that with Holosmith, actually. We will definitely try that. Just going to write a note to myself. AED. Because obviously when you get a certain amount of damage to the threshold, you get auto healed as well, which is pretty cool. Okay. Okay. I mean, you can intentionally plan that. That makes sense. It seems pretty cool. That is pretty cool, right? As long as they can reliably heal back up with the initial blast. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, has he got out?
I'm pretty sure it's viable.
Yeah.
You're pretty
we played
sure.
around.
I'm pretty sure.
Can we get what's the over under here on this is going to end terribly?
74.5%.
This is really good. I mean, maybe I was exaggerating and over how Holosmith was like going to be fun, but Jesus Christ, did you see where is it? The Photon Forge hammer. Launches the foes upward. What is the range on? Is that 240 as well? A 600. That's a 600. They're going to decrease that. That's powerful. Surely. And it always deals a critical hit. What's the critical chance? 100%? What? Oh my god. Oh no, that looks like it's changed somehow. Essentially. Oh my god. Careful thought and planning they put into this is like, yeah, I know.
Right around there. That's how sure he is.
Alright. You only look a little bit nervous, so I'll watch this. People are like theory crafting right now going, alright, gonna explode myself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. You guys want to move on and take a look at the Firebrand?
Sure.
Well, that was cool. That is cool. There is so much. I mean, AED you could use with that. And I think I'd probably still use Elixir Gun. I think, we're still all in agreement. That's pretty ridiculous. So it's probably be Inventions, Alchemy, and then Holosmith. And then, I mean, you can be fully offensive, I guess, to a degree. Still need survivability. So Elixir Gun, remove conditions. You've still got remove conditions in the trait lines anyway as well. Just talking very broadly, very broadly. I could definitely go Sword Shield on the first day. Just play that. Don't care if it's going to be meta or whatever. But yeah, okay, we'll see, Coffee, because I've not seen Firebrand at all. Let's have a look.
From the
Let Carl have his fun over there. He's like, all right, fine, I'll stop.
character who's basically a big magnifying